You ready, Deadman? You ready, my dead friend?
I am very dead and very ready. Somehow that
Wonderful.
works. I don't know how.
Hello, everybody. Due to popular demand, I'm going. I still can't believe how many comments I get about this. Like unironically, everybody's like, "Podcast, podcast, podcast. Please do a podcast. I don't care on what it is. Talk about fucking beds." We're gonna do the podcast, but we're gonna do it about hunt. So this is going to be titles and name in progress, but it's the AHA, like American Hunters Association. We're actually duly sanctioned by them to operate this podcast in Stillwater Bayou, so we shouldn't have any problems on the airwaves. But I figured to do the first episode of this podcast about Hunt Showdown, there would be no better person to have alongside me than the man I've mentioned in so many videos, the man that got every skin in the game by just playing the game. This unhinged lunatic. I'm joined today by my co-host, Deadman.
What's up, people? And like you said, I did, until recently, I will say, until recently, I did have every blood bond skin in the game, and I'm only missing 7 now.
I know. They took away your infinite grind. Now you actually gotta wait.
I gotta pay. I have to pay for things now. Imagine that.
I know. Imagine paying for things in a game that are entirely optional and only cosmetic. I don't get it, dude. I don't understand the heat. I still don't.
I don't get it. And the fact that it's still going on, I think, is what's
to this day, dude. Almost a year. I think it's like a year ago, unironically, that I made my first ever hunt video defending Crytek for the blood bond thing. I still get comments from people saying, "Hey, what the hell? What, you suck? Your dog shit opinion."
Dog shit, bro.
All right, so this podcast isn't just going to be talking and stuff. We actually have some goals with what we want to achieve here, because anybody who's in the hunt space is probably acutely aware. Most people only talk about gameplay. They only bitch, they complain, etc. But there's so much more in Hunt around the gameplay. There's lore, there's all the cosmetics, sound design, the maps. There's so much. The art, the music, everything. There's so much in the game besides just gun shooty and cheaters. And that's all you hear about. God forbid you're on the Hunt Showdown subreddit. They need to fucking quarantine that place. I don't even know what the hell to do with them, bro. That it's gotten so bad with them specifically. But
I agree. Like, they also need to firebomb the Steam forums for sure.
Oh my god. Oh, the Steam forums. It's so bad.
My brain breaks every time I look at it.
Dude.
Like, if I want to feel like a masochist, I literally pull it up.
Bro, I'm telling you. It's to the point where if Crytek puts out a Steam community post saying, "Here's a survey, we want to know what problems you have with the game are," instead of filling out the survey, they'll just respond in the replies under the Steam forums, just saying, "Where's the new map? Where's the new boss? Why are there cheaters?" They don't even respond to the survey, they just bitch. It's like they just want to be heard, but in the worst ways possible.
In the least, I would say it's the least constructive way possible.
Right.
Like, that's why I fill out the survey. Like, 100% why I fill out the survey each time. Like, and the last couple of surveys for me have been very good to them, because for the most part everything's been good. But then, like, if something's very powerful, I'm like, hey, like, this is stupidly powerful. This needs probably a rework time if it happens.
Right.
Stuff like that.
Now, before we get into the whole meat of everything we wanted to talk about today, we're going to talk about, like, the structure of this, the future goals for it, everything. I do want to mention a couple things that are pretty important, and I need more people to know about this. For one, before you go and comment under this fucking video, I am working on Iceberg Part 2. Please do not dislike this video because there isn't an iceberg in it. However, I need help. So I'm willing to admit I'm built like shit and I am legally a cripple. So I need folks like you who are listening to this to help me make this iceberg. You could be immortalized in probably the greatest iceberg, not the 2 million horn, the greatest iceberg for Hunt Showdown, if not the only one on YouTube. So, if you want to join my community Discord, I am coordinating with a lot of folks in my community to not only, one, provide you an avenue to get your own entries in the iceberg through a large survey I have that you could fill out as many times as you want with new entries, but not only that, but to provide footage for the iceberg for different entries I already have or your own. So not only could you get a wider range for your content, you could help make this iceberg happen faster. So if that's something that interests you, I'm going to put a lot of links down below to our community Discord, to the forums, to the survey, a bunch of stuff. Please, I would love to have you be a part of this awesome community project we're doing. And speaking of a community project, that's my other thing I wanted to talk about. I'm also currently trying to get approval from the Hunt Showdown subreddit to conduct a survey in there. A survey about the balance of Hunt. And although I do have to wait for approval on that from the Hunt Showdown subreddit, you could participate right now. If you want to go to the description, I'm also going to put a link there. I have a survey that I'm running for all the people in my community to talk about just the problems they have with the balance of the game. Whether it's a particular gun that's bothering you, whether you think this compound needs to be reworked because it's unfair for whoever's camping there. Whatever your problem is in Hunt, flash bombs suck or they're useless, beetles suck. You can tell me all of that and give a numerical star rating of how you feel about the balance in Hunt, and I'm going to actually collect all this data and make a huge project out of it. So if you want to participate in that, that's also in the description. And for those of you who want to go a step above, last thing I promise before we get into it, you can actually make a small video or voice recording of yourself talking about the whatever is bothering you in Hunt, the balance aspect of it. Or you can make a full-on video and provide that to me for a great chance for it to actually be in the video itself. So not only would you get more clout, spread your socials, and get more views on your videos, you would be able to get your voice to as many people as possible, as I'm always trying to do for our community. So those two projects detailed below. Please give them a look if any of that sounds interesting to you. I would love to have you be a part of it. So now, with that whole fucking thing out of the way, I'm not going to make this a 30-minute intro like in my actual videos. Don't laugh at me. Fuck you, dude.
Look. All I'm saying is you need to appease Joshua. Like, that's how it's going to work. Like, you have to have the 30-minute intro.
I don't want to. Fuck that guy. If he emails me again, I'm going to lose it, dude. Dude, I can't wait for my next Hunter's Lodge episode because, unironically, I got sent the entire B-movie script.
Oh, wow.
That was one of my viewer mail emails, was the entire script of the B-movie. It's fucking insane. It's such a long script for such a fucking Jerry Seinfeld-ass movie, dude.
God.
It's fucking nuts.
That's so ridiculous. Oh, my God.
Okay, so...
Yeah, no, honestly, like... just real quick, because I know
go
you were
ahead.
doing
No, please. You can jump in any fucking time, dude. I want this to be entirely be two people talking.
Oh, sure. No, I was just saying because in reference to like your balance thing, the one thing that personally lately I've been feeling like, I feel like bleed ammo on everything is getting to be a little bit ridiculous.
Oh my, no, dude, casting internal hemorrhage every time you shoot a gun is great.
Yeah, no, and the thing is that like, not only have I seen it a couple of times on the subreddit whenever I've like wanted to do psychic damage to myself, but I've even heard like streamers who have been playing the game 10,000 plus hours even say that they're not really enjoying it. Like, and my thing is that I am fine with it on low ammo in barrel weapons. Springy, fine. Springfield is great for it. It allows a pushing opportunity, and you know, you would either have to push with like the Springfield bayonet or switch to a pistol in order to finish the kill. Same thing with the drilling. You either have to get 2 shots or use the shotgun or switch to a pistol. The Seni, you can just send it down range, and it's just like,
right,
bro, I'm so sick of this. So that's my one complaint about the balance in Hunt. Maybe, well, not even maybe. The only other thing isn't even really a balance thing. It's more of an annoyance. I am so tired of insta burning.
Really?
Because ever since they made flares and fusees able to set bodies on fire, it's become obnoxious. It's basically the same issue back when they rebalanced. Well, not even rebalanced. They destroyed the flash bomb.
Oh, they took it out back and shot it. It's useless.
Yeah, and it seems like they went the other direction because their whole argument for nerfing the flash bomb was that it was a fire and forget type thing, and it wasn't like a purposeful choice. You just threw the flash bomb and just went at it. I feel the same way about the flare guns and the fusees. I don't mind Dragon's Breath having the utility because it's ammo that you are expending.
Right.
And Dragon's Breath can be fun. It is a fun thing to interact with. But, I bring fusees every time I'm a solo now because, one, I run into a ton of other solos, and two, if I want to burn other bodies, I don't have to bring a firebomb now. I just whoop, and then they don't even realize half the time that I'm burning their friend because there's no noise.
That's actually a great aspect of it. I didn't think about it. It's not like you hear a floop from a molly landing. That's actually or a lantern. That's actually crazy to think about. And I never thought about the team aspect of it because if they're not in comms, they have to go off of their own sound and their own knowledge, which is now hindered by the fusees. I liked the concept of it. We won't hang up on this too long, but I liked the concept of the fusees lighting people on fire. I really did. But
and I was on board for it too.
But I guess that it just makes it too easy now. It's literally just burn everybody. It's not, I need to burn this guy because I need to deal with the other guy and I don't have a way to light him on fire unless I find a lantern. It's just everybody, fire.
Yeah, and that's, I've heard say of typical Crytek balancing is going 200% in one direction, and that's how it works. And that's fine, as long as they address it. Because honestly, I feel like an easy fix for that would be have Salveskin make it to where the fusees and the flares do chip damage while they're give a little bit more value to Salveskin. That's it.
I mean, it could use it. It's not a super incredible talent, in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know where I put it on my traits tier list last year, but I can't imagine it was too high.
I don't think it was super high.
Probably C, my guess. So, why are we making this podcast beside the fact I've had people begging me to make one? Well, like I said, we want to make more thought happen in Hunt. We want people to be thinking outside the box. We want to be able to bring light to things that aren't normally talked about, including problems that aren't just cheaters or DLC. Everybody who complains on the subreddit, the Steam forums, it's always the same things. It's always cheating. It's always MMR. It's always why so many DLCs. It's or where's the new map? Or where's the new boss? It's never anything else. And there's so many problems in the game that are little issues you could talk about that people don't. So there's a ton of things we want to accomplish with this over the course of a few months or however long, depending on what you guys are looking for. That's where you come in. You guys can actually help us not only improve this in the future, but to get a lot more in here and to provide a much better, essentially, product for you. And we could talk about the things you want to talk about. That's the cool part. I keep encouraging viewer mail. Send us fucking emails. Send us emails about this. You could directly have a hand in what we're doing. Oh, and then the lore. Dude, the lore is so cool. And that's one thing that I really am glad we're doing this for. Because I don't blame people for not wanting to be into the lore of Hunt. It's hard. It's not only is it difficult to find the lore without just Googling the wiki. Even if you go to the wiki, everything is either one page, if that is essentially a copy paste from something else. It's not even like a summary of the lore. It's a copy paste of a single entry in somebody's long life. Or there's no link at all, and it's just the name of a compound with no lore. And that isn't good for people. If people want to feel invested in the world, they got to look up a YouTube channel to get the lore. And I know that's ironic considering that's part of the goal of this. But don't giggle at me, bro. I'm serious. It's like
I get it.
If we could bring lore in a more like a digestible format to people in little bits every couple weeks, that would be great. Because if somebody tuned in just on their drive to work, while they're at work, even just idly playing this in the background through their earbuds, while they're playing COD, playing a game, playing Hunt for God's sake, just in the background at 10% volume, if they could listen to this every couple weeks, like meeting an old friend, every couple weeks they'd get on more bits of lore that are digestible, easy to understand. Over time, you would learn so much about the game, and it would come on naturally, and it would be fantastic, so that by the time a huge event in the future happens, you could just pick out the people that are part of it, and you could tell your friends about who they are, and what they represent, where they've been, what they've done. Like I love that idea, and it would be really cool if that's something we could accomplish over time for people, without putting them off of how cool the lore really is. That's my big goal here.
No, and I 100% agree. And as, again, somebody who loves stuff like the Souls games, it's very much the same thing. Like, the Souls games are a mountain to get into. Elden Ring being the most accessible. But Hunt doesn't have that history, that like the dev history. It's basically just, it was one game first, then it transferred studios to the current Crytek team.
Yep, it was Hunt Outlaws and Legends. Yep.
Yeah, or whatever it was. Like it was basically a third person Left 4 Dead. Is essentially what it was, just in the bayou. And it was wild. I remember seeing that trailer. And I was like, dude, that's crazy looking. And then a couple years later, then we got Hunt Showdown, and I was flabbergasted because, one, it would look so different. And I was like, okay, so this is like a shooter. And then I started seeing it's like, oh, this is like Monster Hunter, but with guns and stuff like that. I was like, Monster Hunter doesn't look anything like this, but okay, let's check it out.
Right.
And voila, I picked it up in 2018, and here we are.
Yeah, dude, I wasn't late. It was cool. You could still look up gameplay now. I'll edit in like a little tidbit of gameplay here that won't get this video taken down, because I'm pretty sure that Crytek doesn't want a lot of people looking at what the game was before it was on Showdown. But yeah, no, it was cool. It was sick, honestly. There's a lot of aspects of that I hope we get in Hunt eventually, like a couple bosses that were in it, like the spirit. Really cool.
Yeah. I agree. Actually, and the funny thing is, and this is I don't think this is gonna go too much into like balancing, but they recently nerfed like melee tool damage, like knives and shit like that against bosses.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, so they did that recently. It has a little bit of a mixed thing. The one thing I do agree with is that they over nerfed the melee world weapon spawns. Like, the ones that are static are still there. So if there's an axe in like a stump, or a pitchfork in a bale of hay, you can still find those. And they're also at every land cart. They're not in the boats, but every land cart there's usually an axe or a sledgehammer that you can find.
But there used to always be a world drop. I don't know if they changed it, but if it's still the same with the wagons,
yeah, the wagons is where they spawn. But like in the boss layers, you could find like axes and sledgehammers, shovels, whatever. But now I feel like it's kind of in a funny way, and I don't think they even intended this, because if you in that original gameplay trailer, you saw hunters that had like an axe on their back or something like that, because that was like their loadout, because it was meant to be like, oh well, if I don't have any ammo, I could just switch to the axe and do whatever melee combo. But because of that happening, I have actually personally seen more melee secondary builds where they have like a Winnie or like a Mosin even, and like a katana or an axe or a machete. Like, I was dealing with a guy yesterday that had 2 officers and a fucking machete. Like, I was like, okay, that's random. So it almost went back in a weird way. So it was interesting. It's interesting to see how that has pushed forward. Because also, I don't know if you saw this too, they made the katana a 1-slot weapon. You don't need quartermaster anymore.
Oh, hey. I don't even want to spend 30 minutes on balancing melee weapons, but they really need to, I don't want to say homogenize it. They need to figure out what the fuck they're doing, because I feel like Crytek tiptoes around melee weapons a lot. They don't want them to be the focal point of your loadout, but then some of the melee weapons can one-shot and some can't. It's like, dude, make up your mind. I don't... I almost wish there was like another whole slot for melees in the loadout, but then everybody would just have a melee and that would change the entire game.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It's like, it would have to be a huge decision and a big update, but I wish they would just pick a side. I don't know.
Yeah. I think the only melee weapon, personally, just quickly, that needs a rework, because I played a melee-only Prestige.
Right.
The only one that needs a rework is the fucking Railroad Hammer. Like,
it's
100%.
So cool.
It's cool, but I hate it, because it's the only one I couldn't get consistent kills with.
Yeah.
Because the hitbox is bad. Like, that's just what it is. The actual swing to connect hitbox is terrible. And I think it should be more in line with something like the Combat X.
I mean, they can literally copy it over. It's almost the same size.
Yeah. I think they need to extend the range of the swings to be more in line with the axe, since it literally has the same animation. But when people saw me do that thing, like the katana, obviously powerful. Saber, super powerful. Bomb lance, we don't even need to talk about that one. But
the ape weapon,
yeah. But all of those weapons worked. And, you know, when I had a Winchester, I've even seen people use shotguns and a melee secondary. Don't know why, but, you know, whatever. These weapons work, except for the Railroad Hammer. So
I almost wish they would like an aspect of balance they don't touch is like reach. If for the bigger melee weapons, if they wanted to make them do like less damage but have like an actual range stat that makes them hit further away, that'd be cool. And then for the shorter ones, it's like it could hit faster. They could like rework how melee weapons work as a whole. Like if it's a smaller weapon, it attacks faster but does less damage. Bigger weapons, more damage, longer reach, but a lot slower. That'd be really cool. But
yeah, that's actually one thing I like about the machete over the katana.
Right.
Honestly, because the machete, you could just start just like fucking whapping people. Like, just, hey, let me get this light melee attack right on somebody's head and kill them. Whereas the katana, you have to like wind up and then swing on the light attack. But the heavy attack for the katana is better. So
yeah, you're a mile motion to one shot with the trait. Yeah.
Even without the trait, like the stab is insane. It's like the saber.
Right.
So.
Oh yeah, fucking. Oh my god, we didn't even finish the first thing we're going to talk about. So the plan is for this podcast to come out every couple weeks. We'll do one. If there's a bigger demand, a lesser demand, life happens, whatever, that schedule could totally change. That's the current goal. We'll keep you updated on that. You guys also, like I said, have a lot of input on that. And in the future, if this continues to be successful, God, I'm going to get collaborations, dude. I'm going to get more guests on here. My big goal, we had a few people in the Discord mention this, it was a great idea, was to get like lesser known people in the Crytek space, like artists, for example, to talk about their inspirations and stuff. That would be awesome. If one day I could do that, that would be a treat. I'm going to do that if possible. So this episode is a pilot. That's why we have this whole intro that normally wouldn't happen, to be a lot more natural, just to swing into things. But just for episode 1, it's going to be more like this pilot, just to experiment, figure out the structure, what we need to do, what you guys want us to do. And in the future, it's only going to go uphill from here. It's only going to be better. So what is happening in Hunt right now? There's a lot. There's a lot happening in Hunt right now, while simultaneously looking like nothing is happening because Crytek doesn't communicate with us at all. So, okay, what is happening in Hunt? So for those who don't know, because again, Crytek doesn't communicate a lot, there is a new engine update coming. Basically going to be Hunt 2.0, in my opinion. Like, whole new, like, graphical fidelity. It's going to make the gameplay smoother. It'll give them a lot more opportunities with the new engine to add more to the game. That's a big thing. Because remember, with engines, it moves the entire game. It's like the engine of a car. So when you're working with an old engine that's outdated, it severely limits the design space for not only art, but the maps, for bosses possibly. So with a big engine update, a whole 2.0, it gives them a lot more opportunities to finally add the things that people say the game doesn't have and are bitching about constantly. So that engine update's huge. We still don't know a whole lot about it, but we know it's coming. I think a lot of people are anticipating it's coming out like very soon, but we don't have concrete information on that, if I'm correct, right?
There's nothing concrete. They said something, I think they said it on Twitter and probably somewhere else.
Right.
They said they are looking like they're glad people are looking forward to the engine update, but they'll have more details to share later in the year. And most people are thinking that's going to be like December. And I was like, dude, that could be like a month from now. Like, but I do remember them saying initially when they had one of the roadmap videos, I think the general manager, Dave Fifield, said the earliest the engine update and the new map would be like April. And that was the earliest. And I think that was basically like, hey, if everything's streamlined and in an ideal world, this is when it's going, this is the earliest it would happen. We all know, or should know, if you have common sense, not everything is in an ideal world. And also, programming is a fucking nightmare. So I'm thinking they are trying their best to preserve the game as it stands right now, so it's a smooth transition. And I would much rather them have to take more time to deal with the problems they're having with porting the engine over, because there's not many other games that get a new engine.
No, they wait for the sequel.
Yeah, they literally, like, and that's what they said. It's like, we don't want to make a Hunt Showdown 2. I have heard that from the lead designer. I have heard that from the general manager. They don't want to do a Hunt Showdown 2. They basically want to, like, run Hunt till there is no longer, like, it's no longer able to be, like, whether that be 10, 20, 30 years.
That's so rare in the design space these days, in the game space. It's insane, dude. Like, Overwatch, Their first thought was, hey, Overwatch 2. Their first thought when they wanted to bring big changes to the game was, let's make a second game. Like,
right.
It's so crazy that they want this to be, like, Hunt to be the live service game until it dies. It's so rare. It's so cool. It's awesome.
Yeah, because it's like, and that's the thing, is that, like, with what's going on in Hunt, like, and I understand frustration. Like, it can be a little frustrating to not have a change in Hunt. And maybe it's just my perspective from playing originally. We used to go 7 or 8 months without changes in the beginning of Hunt. Like, it would be very long in between updates. So I'm already kind of like used to it. I'm just like, I just enjoy the fucking game. Like, let's just play. Like, let's have a good time. I just got a friend into it he had tried it during Serpent Moon, didn't really care for it. And then after playing another extraction shooter and he got used to that, he was like, okay, I want to try Hunt again. And he's been having a blast. So honestly, if you're stale with the game, get some of your friends into it. Like, or just take a break. Go play something else. Then go play something that crushes your balls.
Preach, brother. Preach. I'm telling you.
Right.
I'm telling people constantly to just take a break. I did that for months. Not just for my hand, but also from a lack of interest. And I think about Hunt to this day, even when I'm not playing it. That's the thing. If you really love the game like you say you do, you don't need to play it every day. You can take a long break, weeks, months, and still love the game, and then come back to it refreshed. And it'll be like an old friend coming over for a visit when you finally drop back into the bayou. Like, don't sit there and just be sick with the game. Give yourself the space.
Exactly. Like, and that's what I would do, and I don't know if I'm ever going to go back to it, but there was similar situations with the game I play, and this is a few years ago now, but I used to play a game, an MMO called Final Fantasy 14.
I know that. I know it.
Right.
Dude, I played through the whole just the base game campaign. I didn't do anything else, but I love that 14.
Yeah, and the thing is that I had played it since the beginning. Back when it was the jankiest motherfucking thing I ever played, but the people I played it with at that time made it enjoyable. Then, life got in the way, and I couldn't play it anymore. So I stopped playing, and then I came back with another group to play it again, but I was starting to see, because I had played it in every iteration, basically. And I was like, I started to dislike the direction they were going. It was still a fun game to play, but it got to a point where I was like disliking aspects about the game. Not the whole game in its entirety, but like certain aspects. Like raiding wasn't fun anymore. Doing trials wasn't fun. Like I was just like, this is literally just a time sink. I don't want to do this. And one of my friends at the time was like, dude, have you thought about taking a break? Because you're making me not like the game. Like, I understand what you're talking about and whatnot. Like, I understand. He had said this to me, and I'm glad he did, because now I've applied it going forward. I understand what you're saying about the game, and I agree with you, but you get so passionate because you love the game. You need to calm down and just like, so, and I was like, yeah, sure. Okay. That actually makes sense. And luckily I had to do that with Hunt maybe a few times where like, I was just like, man, fuck this.
Right.
But within the last few years, I can tell you, I have not had to do it with Hunt since. Like, if I need a break, I take a week or two to not play, and I'll go play something else. Like, I remember at the end of the Desolation's Wake, the event previous to this one, or no, not Desolation's Wake. That's the one that just ended. My bad.
You're good.
Yeah, Tide of Desolation. I took a break. Like, somebody bought me Helldivers, and we decided to go play Helldivers. Or I played Marauders for like a month back in like January. Like, I was playing that game. And I took breaks. Like, even though I play Hunt still, and I played Hunt during my quote unquote break, it wasn't every day, you know? And now that I've started my content creation journey on playing Hunt and being ridiculous and doing the war crimes that I do on a daily basis.
Yeah, the fiendish war crimes, yes.
Yes. Like, Sunday and Monday, I don't stream. And if I play, I'm not playing solo. I'm playing with friends. We're doing things. We're being silly. I'm enjoying time with my friends, whether that's on Hunt, whether that's on Skur Ritual, Helldivers, whatever co-op game we are into at the time, even something as ball-bustingly hard as GTFO. The point. I love that game. But
bro, we play so many of the same games and not together, and I never realized until you start talking about games you've been playing with friends. I'm like, bro, we gotta talk about this, bro.
Yeah,
it doesn't have to be just Hunt, dude.
But that's like kind of the thing is that like, because I remember the one time I had like a breaking point with Hunt. I went to go play Tarkov.
Ugh.
I played Tarkov for a month or two, then came back to Hunt, and I had such a big appreciation for Hunt after that. I was like, Hunt is so much better. Like, and people like will talk about how it's not like a hardcore game anymore, blah blah blah. And I was like, it can't be a hardcore game and be successful. And I'll tell you why. And that's because Hunt has one AK-47 in it, and that's it. Every other gun takes time and energy to use. And
for the most part, let's not pull the short straw here, but yes.
Well, and what I mean is, and I'm not talking about some of the other spam weapons like the fucking Bornheim, the Mentos popper, whatever.
Yeah,
there are
fanning a Caldwell.
Yeah, there's spammy things, but there's usually a downside to spamming. Unlike in the modern military shooters, whether they're like the arcadey ones or your other extraction shooters, you could just pop a new mag in and start spraying again. Will you be successful? Well, that's entirely dependent on how well you aim. Or just
in the recoil and stuff.
Yeah, Hunt, not so much. I have seen people within 2 meters of somebody fan a conversion chain pistol and miss every fucking shot. Or you get domed on the first shot. It's literally RNG. So, it is what it is. Most people aren't attracted to the weapon style. Maybe they're attracted to more of the art, but they don't want to deal with the weapons. And I was like, that's a fair criticism. If you don't want to put the time and effort into the game, you're not going to have fun with it. Like, the end of the day.
That's actually why I got into Hunt to begin with, because like my friends tried to get me into it for a while, and I had owned a Hunt for like 4 years, right? But back when I played it, no tutorial, fucker just drops you in there. and I didn't know what the hell was happening. I didn't know what the game was. I'd never played an extraction shooter either, so after crouching and walking around in the grass for like 5 minutes, I'm like, this sucks. Fuck this. And I uninstalled it and never played it again until they got me back into it. But the reason, Hunt has a different story for everybody. For me, I loved it, not only because of the story, the music, the lore, just the atmosphere, the sounds, the animations. What got me into Hunt more than anything else was the purpose. Everything you do has purpose. And you can play slow and methodically and be rewarded for it, or very fast and blitz people and be rewarded for it. And that's something that Hunt does that no other game I've really played does in the same way. You can make your own gameplay style, and the game will reward you if you put the time in. I played with a bow and arrow for 50 hours when I first started playing. 50 hours of just bow and arrow and axe, and I loved it, dude.
Right.
Oh my god. And for a gamer like me, who is crippled and it makes it really hard to play games, being able to play a lot slower and focus on landing specific shots instead of having to snap my hands back and forth and break my fingers to play Valorant, it's so much better for me than other games. And that was why I loved Hunt. It catered to me. Even if I wasn't a hardcore gamer, I could find ways to play that were enjoyable.
Absolutely. Like, and that's what I tell people. And that's why I've always told somebody, like, you know, if you're not in the Hunt, that's fine. If you ever get to a point where you want to, because I had a friend of mine, she's very dear to me. When she played shooters, she was typically the long range sniper character. And the funny thing is, I am the exact opposite. Anyone who's seen me play Hunt knows that, like, you put a scope on the gun, I suddenly forget how to aim, and I hit everything but what I'm shooting at.
Homie is animalistic, believe me.
And the worst part is, if it's an iron sight, I can hit better than when I had a damn scope, and I don't understand it. My brain is broken. It's, I don't know, I guess whenever it sees a scope, it's like, what are you doing? But, like, I think she would thrive with a scope, because once she learned bullet velocity and stuff like that, which is something that isn't in a whole lot of other shooters either, she would probably be amazing at it. And there's a lot of people who would be amazing at it. Now, to preface, I do talk a lot of shit about snipers, but there's a certain type of sniping playstyle that I won't get into that I just don't like. You can play it. You bought the game for your $40 or $8, whatever sale you got it for. You can play it how you want. I don't care. I will still bitch about it. Like, because it's like, you know, I can't directly counter certain things. That's just how it goes. But actually, I think the new map is probably going to be a little bit crazier for snipers based on stuff that I've heard and stuff that I've seen. I'm not going to say what I saw because I think it's taboo or whatever, but stuff that I've seen is very much going to be way more vertical even than some of the areas in DeSalle.
Yeah, actually, I'm glad we finally, after like 25 minutes of talking about random bullshit, finally circled back to the map that's coming out. What I forgot, what is the speculation on that? Like, a lot of people are speculating Canada for a while.
I think people were speculating Canada because of the Hunter that came out, Northern Justice.
Right, the Mountie that came out right when all the map stuff was coming out, and then they had like the big teasers with mountains and stuff.
And because in the Mounties trailer, it looks similar to a place in DeSalle, but not exactly. Because I went to the place in DeSalle that was, quote unquote, might have been in the trailer, and it wasn't the same.
Right.
So, and the thing is that the way I have seen a prototype top-down of the map.
And
I know the code name. The code name is Colorado.
Ooh.
And at the end of the last event, this is why I also like paying attention to the lore. And I put the lore in its entirety up on my YouTube channel, like from start to finish, like have all of the different, just playing through the entire, all 15 chapters, which I do have to say, I want to praise Crytek real quick. I love how they did this one, because before they would do it where it was one of each hunter. Like chapter 1 was the redneck chapter 2 was Harden. Whatever it was, in this one, it flows better because sometimes you got like 3 unlocks of Harden, 3 unlocks of Sophia, 3 unlocks of Fellas. Like, it told the story in a cohesive manner. Like, if it was a part 1 and a part 2, you unlocked part 1, then you unlocked part 2. You didn't have to wait 4 chapter levels to get to part 2. It just made more narrative sense this time. But in the final chapter of the last lore entry in Desolation's Wake, the Primal Pact hopped on a train after fighting with the Death Pact and the Lawful Pact, aka Harden, Statesman, all of them. And I implore you, I love the story for this one, probably the most out of all of them, to listen to it, because they basically pulled a Wild West stunt show and they hopped on a train and were like, "See ya, fuckers," and left. And all that was said is that they were going west. And west of Louisiana leads to Colorado. So I'm thinking that's where we're going to end up.
Oh, I can't wait, bro.
It looks, and honestly, the top down I saw initially, and again, this was a couple years ago at this point. This is how long they've been working on the damn map. I saw this a couple years ago.
My God.
It's probably very different than what it is now. And I understand why Crytek doesn't talk about certain things. Because, like, for example, one leak that we found was a Crowning King with a drum mag. Do you know how nuts that would have been?
Yeah.
And then they were like, and then they were like, well, we can't. I think ultimately they decided against it because the Crowning King is already a menace. Then all of a sudden you have all of its ammo in one drum mag, like basically it's a shotgun aftermath. Nah. They're just like, because then some people would have been excited for it, some people wouldn't have been excited for it. So I think sometimes for mental health, they just skip it. For the devs, like not necessarily for the players, that's not on them. Their job is to make a game and make a product that is worth putting money into, worth playing, worth putting time into, whatever your choice is. So for me, like, I think the lore has done a good job of like hinting at stuff. Like, I think the end of Tide of Desolation hinted at, oh, we might have a new boss coming. Because they go into the land of the dead and they see a new being being born, kind of shit,
So sick.
And and then we're gonna get probably cooler, probably different looking hunters out of Colorado, if we're being honest. Like, because we have the hunters that came from New York, we have the hunters that came from like Mexico,
we've got a lot of there's a lot of immigrants as well.
There's all sorts of stuff, and we can get into that another time. So, but I do think the new map and the new engine upgrade are going to release, if not simultaneously, pretty close. And I think it's going to have its own update. I don't think it'll have an event because it has been proven by the hunt community that they don't like playing 100% of something all the time. Some people do, some people don't, but some people prefer other maps. But the last time when they released DeSalle was mostly what you got, but they still sprinkled in the other ones. So I think it's going to be one of those where they're going to give it a few months, maybe put out a quest line and have the quest line kind of coincide with the map, like they did right before Tide of Shadows, because I think that's around when you and I met. Yep. Was around Tide of Shadows. So I think they're going to do that quest line like they did before, because people are like, well, they forgot about quest lines. And I was like, what would you rather do, a quest line or an event? Because if you do both, then you're going to be like, it's too much. Like, and we've had an event back to back since Tide of Shadows.
Yeah, the event fatigue is so real, gamers. It's so brutal.
It is brutal. Even I'm kind of like, bro.
Anything else, for the love of God, please.
That being said, I am missing some aspects of Desolation's Wake, like, being able to restore my bar in the middle of the map when I've just gotten done just being fucking stupid.
Don't mind me. I miss Mariner. I'm fucking built different.
Oh yeah. No, I miss Mariner. I would love to see that come back to the game.
Yeah, it'd be sick.
I want Berserker in the game where it doubles my melee damage. I want that so bad. Give it as a 6-point trait. Give me a 6-point trait where I can do.
My God.
Like,
dude, the Bushwookies would go crazy with that, though.
They didn't, though. That was the funny thing. Primal was the least picked because the other two were so strong.
I mean, in a vacuum, yeah, but if you just add it to the game, it's going to be a lot different.
Yeah, and the thing
it'll be nuts, I think.
Yeah, as somebody, when I looked at my screenshot, it was like 557 times I had Primal.
Holy shit, dude.
Like, I mean, I played a lot, as you...
For those that don't know... come on. You playing a lot? There's no fucking way that the Deadman would be deadmanning on Hunt Showdown all the time.
Yeah, no, not even once.
Not even once.
But the interesting thing to me is that trait affected me more in PvE than it did in PvP. I'm not going to say it didn't help in PvP. It does. But it is such a situational trait in PvP that I think 6 is a generous thing to take it, and I don't think many people would take it. Right. I think the people who play melee and do their melee stuff would love it as a kind of like, hey, I want to be able to kill bosses quicker. Because that's really what it affected. Honestly, that's really what it affected. Was like you take a katana and you can 6-shot Scrappy with the pierce.
Yeah.
So it's like you're paying for that power, but you're also dedicating a slot to the melee weapon. It's a twofold thing,
If your open campaign for this gets this fucking trait in the game, and then I get one shot by a railroad hammer. I'll be so fucking mad, dude.
You'll probably still like just get tickled by the railroad hammer, considering all you got to do is like move 2 inches to the left to dodge the fucking railroad hammer. It's fucking ridiculous. But yeah, it's like I'm interested to see where they go with it, because I think, like I said, originally, as of the last dev stream or dev video, not even dev stream, dev video that was out. I don't watch the gameplay dev streams. I know they kind of drop stuff sometimes, I think, in those, but not really. The last dev video I watched, they talked about 3 big events. We've had 1 big event this year, and then updates would come with those events. And then there's a solo, like, isn't tied to any sort of event update. And I think the solo isn't tied to any sort of event update is going to be the engine update. If they can't, I would say we'll probably have a little bit of silence on the Hunt front in terms of gameplay changes.
Silence on no shot. Silence on the Hunt front. Crytek has never once been silent. They're so communicative with everything going on all the time, bro. Come on, dude.
Hey, look, part of that is on the part of it. Not saying that I'm not absolving Crytek of it, because they used to be more communicative, but because a lot of people were talking about, I remember talking with people about it. Can you provide examples? I was like, I can't go dig up the fucking VODs where they would just spam the damn chat every single time about like, oh, this sucks or that sucks or whatever,
Yeah, that's part of the problem with like Hunt in general is finding concrete information is so difficult. You need to get the secondhand information from the third-hand information of some old screenshot that may or may not be fake. It's
right.
All the time that happens. You just have to take people's word for it, because they might be they might not be lying, and there's no proof about anything.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing, is that like I don't think Crytek is absolved. I don't think they could handle a lot of things better, and I think a lot of us who have been around a while that all feel that same way. But we're also not gonna plug to your video how I found you. I'm not going to demonize Crytek for trying to protect its developers in a very toxic, or can be very toxic, hobby space. It's not just Hunt. and I'm not saying it's the hunt community at a whole, there's a lot of very toxic gamers there. And, I've seen it even on Helldivers, of all fucking things. I've seen toxicity there. It's not, it's not just a hunt problem, but I would much rather the devs be silent and be happy when they go home to their families and not want to fucking yeet themselves from the mortal coil because some idiot decided to try and dox them.
Oh, God, yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah, I would much rather that, personally. Because we're all just trying to live in this shit show together. Honestly, I am so happy that Hunt Showdown exists as a shooter because I had been so disenfranchised with shooters. And we have this wonderful game that even besides people talking about, oh, it's not really hardcore anymore, whatever. I dare you to find another game that is exactly like Hunt Showdown.
Give me a soapbox for 10 seconds, bro. Hunt Showdown 1.0 would have died. It would not have gotten 5 years of updates if it stayed as hardcore as it was. I hate with vitriol people that this is not Hunt. This is no longer Hunt. This is not at all Hunt-pilled. This is baby game. Dude, the only reason the game hit, I can't say the only reason, one of the significant reasons that the game hit its highest player count ever last year is because it has been constantly increasing the accessibility of the game to people. If it was Hunt 1.0, grueling, slow gameplay without all the extra nuances, people wouldn't be playing it now. There'd be a fucking player base of 200 on on private servers. It would not be a huge game now like it is, with potentially 15 years of a roadmap coming up. It would not be the same.
It was, oh my God. Like I was telling you, we were doing a little bit of research, and we may get to it either this episode, next episode, whenever it happens. But the going back and watching the videos that I linked in the DM so we can watch them at some point. And
right.
I forgot how many things were so different. The fact that Scupper Lake, I apparently gaslit myself about Scupper Lake because I forgot that entire corner of the map, not even the section, the corner of that map was under fucking water. Yep. Even the boss layer was almost completely submerged. And I was like, that's wild. And I had a fun time at Scupper Lake because, how many games do you have where you're running around in waist-deep water in a PvP game? It was a wild time. However, I also understood why they drained Scupper Lake and added to it, because while it may have been fun for me, and I miss that old version of Scupper Lake sometimes because it was just goofy fun, I understand why they got rid of it. Because Gator Legs wasn't what Gator Legs is now, because Gator Legs, you can fucking just sail through the damn water now. Gator Legs maybe sped you up a 0.25 or something like that. It wasn't very good. It was good enough, but it wasn't very good at the time. They had to rework it. But that's what I mean is that, I'm so glad I have the common sense to be no, these are good things. Hunt getting bigger is a good thing. We like this. Because
dude, it's so much bigger than it ever was, dude. It's actually crazy how large the hunt space has grown. I'm not going to say it's to that point, but it's almost to the point where people in real life will know what the game is. How that you could say COD, and people who don't play Call of Duty know what it is. It's almost getting to that point. I've watched random YouTube videos about any game, and somehow Hunt might get brought up. I watched one about Wolfenstein the other day, about how the first game in the new remake was awesome and the second one was disappointing. And in the first game, random Hunt Showdown reference in the middle of it, just out of nowhere. He just said a dude got sniped, and it felt like he got sniped like it was across the map in Hunt Showdown. And then it said best PvP game ever. Dude, it's crazy. A lot of people know Hunt now. That would have never happened.
Well, and what was wild to me is that I recently got exposed to a YouTuber named Russian Badger.
My friend never shuts the fuck up about that guy.
He's hilarious, but they had a bit And it was a very funny bit because given the time period of Hunt and whatnot, they referenced Hunt. Like, they're not going to play that on stream probably because they play kind of just more arcadey and silly things, like where they can go like full meme, get into a game real quick. And I was like, that's fair. But one of them was like, what your Hunt legendary hunter choice says about you, and it would bring up like one and it would say racist, another one racist.
I think I've seen clips of that.
Yeah, but completely memeing. But the fact that somebody with that level of exposure and pretty much plays your straightforward mainstream games had a Hunt reference in it, I get what you mean. Like, it's a little wild that Hunt went from, it was basically like, I think at one point one of my friends like called it Swamp Tarkov. And it went from Swamp Tarkov to it has its own identity. Like, and the fact that like people want old Hunt and they want buckshot that made you bleed, like even if you got tickled with it, they want the no inertia on your movement. And like I said, when we get to the gameplay videos, you'll be like, what the fuck is this game? Because I also saw for the first time, and I thought this was different because of how much it changed. When you had Dark Sight, you used to have 15 seconds.
Oh my god.
That's insane.
That's a lot. Like, that's a lot of fucking time.
Yeah, and it, like 10 seconds for a solo is a long time, but I remember 10 seconds in the game. And it's basically they're turning a solo into a duo, but it, solo should be more manageable. I'm putting massive air quotes here. But one of my big things with it is just going back and looking. Extract used to be 10 to 15 seconds. I forgot about that. So that pretty much means if you got to an extract, you were out of the game. Because how many times do you go in and you block it at the 1 second mark, creating that awesome thing of just being like, because I did that the other day. I was playing and I was chasing a duo that had killed me. And I self-resed. And then I had, I think, a Springfield. Like, I had stolen a Springfield that had bleed and then a conversion chain pistol that had bleed. I was doing a gun game, and we can go into that topic whenever. But I chased them across the map, like from Windy all the way up to that very corner of Salter's Port where the extract is in the water. If we had Old Hunt Showdown, they would have been gone before I even got there.
Yep.
But I was able to... I mean, granted, I understand they were probably very mad, and if either of those dudes that are listen, I am so sorry I dunked on you the way that I did. But for me, that was one of those Hunt Showdown specific highs that you get. Like, I was able to do some different tactics and whatnot. Like, I basically forced them into bleed status. And did a whole bunch of stuff that in no other shooter you could do. Even now, you can't do it. Like, not even in Tarkov, not in anywhere else. Like, Tarkov, you can't block extracts. None of that shit. So we have this unique style of game that has been honed to the point that it is now, and it's so much more enjoyable. I can even say I miss certain aspects of the old game. I say it all the time. Some people that were there grown. I want Alpha Knight to come back as a wild card because it was so wild to me. But I understand why they have the moon in the map so people can fucking see. Like,
yeah,
they're not using dark sight to figure out the terrain around them. So I am with you 110%. As somebody, again, bought it in 2018 and we're here now, the game needed to evolve in order to stay. Because 1.0 Hunt, full agreement, would not have made it. We might be at 2,000 players. That's about it.
I mean, I would say that's even a reach, dude. Because it wouldn't have kept getting updates. That's the thing. It would not. Yeah, they had to get more people into the game that weren't into the game, and that's where you lower the skill floor, you raise the ceiling if possible, but you need to make the game more accessible.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. There's also some things that people don't remember from that time. Like the fact that the Winnie fired twice as fast as it fires now. Back then, the double barrel, I think I mentioned to you yesterday, had 12 extra shells in it. The uppercut had 12 extra and also could be fanned accurately. I found out. I was like, oh my God, I didn't remember all of this garbage. Like, a lot of the stuff that changed was for a good reason. And sure, it sucks to get used to a whole new aspect of it, but hey, it's what you got to do.
And speaking of changes, actually, because Desolation's Awake just ended on, it was May 8th. So,
yeah.
Yep, so if you've got a 20 gigabyte patch waiting for you on Steam, it's removing everything from Desolation's Awake. But along with that, the Caldwell Marathon and the Mako Carbine, along with all their assorted special ammos and variants, there's some bleed in there like every other fucking weapon. All of those are getting converted into the regular game, just like any other update, as well as the Dragon's Breath on the Caldwell and the Flechette on the Crown and King. Those shotguns, they're also going into the regular game, so you'll be able to get those per usual, just like any other ammo and gun. So that's good. I didn't get to play with those guns, actually. How did you feel about the Marathon and the Mako?
This might be a hot take, but the Marathon is mid. It essentially does... I feel like it's a side grade to the Winnie. And this is 100% a me thing before people get on me about it. I get dummy-headed when I use the Marathon. It is a great gun. It is a good, solid gun. I would still much rather, personally, use the Winnie. Not even because of levering, because that's what one people say. It's like, well, the Marathon doesn't have levering. Sure, it doesn't. It's a pump action. Why would it? I still got more consistent kills with the Winfield C. I think the Marathon is good for people who haven't been playing as long as I have. Because I can't get used to the Marathon for whatever reason.
That was me with drilling, dude. I just can't make the gun connect in my head, and like other people take 2 drilling hand cannons into the game and fucking blow me away. I can't, for some reason, the drilling just doesn't click with me. I can't aim the fucking thing.
Yeah, and the thing is that it's like, on paper, the Marathon is better than the Winnie. It has a quicker fire rate. It has a quicker, it has a tiny bit more damage, like literally it's like 3 points of damage difference. Has slightly longer headshot range. Because I think it has FMJ in it, I think it's also slightly faster, like muzzle velocity wise. So it has FMJ and poison right now, which is very good. Very, very solid. I liked the both of the skins are really good. The variant for the Marathon is a Swift. Kind of hard to argue with a Swift because it's literally just a straight upgrade. It's priced appropriately. I think it's like right in the middle of the Winnie C and the Winfield 1983 or 1873. What the fuck? But it's basically the in between this Winnie C and the big Winnie. It's like $68. Very inexpensive. And you get a lot of ammo. It's easy to resupply. I don't know if they fixed the bug with bullet grubber, but honestly, if you need bullet grubber with a compact weapon, I don't know. But it's a very good. It is a good weapon that I cannot use. On the other hand, the Mako carbine might be my favorite long ammo right now.
Really?
Yeah, like, and the thing is that it takes more skill to use than some of the other ones. Because I picked up recently, like I said, I was stealing loadouts, doing the gun game thing, like you saw yesterday. Anytime that I had a Mosin, it was just like dunked on. Like I just dunked on somebody every time. The Mako carbine is slower than its bolt action brothers, but one of the things I like about the Mako carbine is that it makes explosive long ammo fun. And the reason why is because I used it at range, and it still works very well at range. The Mako carbine also has a aperture, which helps out. But the carbine works out well. The aperture is nice. I tend to like apertures more than like a scope, whatever, because you could flip it down. And like I was saying with the explosive, the reason I like the explosive so much is because, again, it's a fun factor. You get explosive levering with uppercut fanning, super fun. Like 100% had a couple of rounds where I just walked in with that. I didn't necessarily do like high kill games with it, but we were having a good time. Like we were being silly. You're not having to rely on the martini iron side in order to get those huge like bolter things. I think it's also a psychological effect when people start getting pelted with explosive rounds. It's real silly. And that's kind of what it comes down to for that. Now, it's also one of my favorites because we have the Mako Carbine Claw, which opens up so much more than like the Talon, because the Carbine Claw has it to where it solves the issue of the Talon that you would have before. Because if you had the Talon, you pretty much had to take something blunt like an officer with dusters, or if you wanted to, a Scotfield brawler, which I do think or even if you were, you had a Talon variant and you wanted to take a Mosin mace, which I think we need more mace variants. But you had that Talon and you still needed to deal with like immolators or something like that. The Claw lets you deal with both because the light attack deals as much damage as a heavy knife attack. And you really kind of gets into that nitty gritty. And if a fucking immolator runs up on you, you could just gun butt him. Once you're done gun butting him, if something else comes up, like another, like a grunt or armored, switch to just light attack, and it's real quick, real kind of easy to get into. And I don't know, seeing a claw on a two-handed weapon is interesting, especially when the only other two claw variants are literally the Pax and the fucking Dolch. So ultimately, I think the Carbine opens up. It's one of my favorite long ammos now because one, it's super fun to use, and two, it's showing that we're probably going to get more interesting variants down the road.
Oh, you mean you don't just like everybody using nothing but bleed ammo and Swifts?
Yeah, right.
You mean you want some variety in your fucking hunt showdown? That'd be crazy, right?
Yeah, I know. It's almost as if maybe sometimes I like to meme and just use explosive ammo not on the crossbow.
Right.
So, and then the other two things they introduced, the Caldwell Dragon's Breath. The problem with that one specifically, I think, is the fact that the Caldwell in general has gotten more and more inconsistent. Crowning King Flechette is also interesting because it's basically, it now outclasses like the double barrel with Flechette.
More internal hemorrhage, yeah!
Yeah. And the thing is that I can put up with Flechette more so than I can put up with just straight rifle dum-dum.
Right.
Because it is distance based, and I think I heard a thing where people were like, "Why don't you make the damage more distance based with the drop off?" Because it's not like if you get hit with like a sniper that has dum-dum, it's instantly like internal hemorrhaging.
Yeah, no, you're bleeding now pretty fucking quick. You got to get behind cover and heal or you die.
Yeah. Whereas like even with incendiary, you still need to get hit twice. Granted, people will say, well, what about poison? And I was like, well, there's a shot for that. Granted, it got nerfed, but there's still a shot for that. And there's also Mithridatus, which makes it to where you're poisoned for a less amount of time if you so choose. Because some people say, well, run bloodless. I was like, you still get intense bleed. It just says it doesn't escalate. Read the damn trait. You still get intense bleed at the end of the day. But, realistically, at the end of the day, the guns were very good. Like I said, I love aperture sights on long ammo. I think it's fun. It's even made me retroactively like the Winnie with aperture, but not the nitro. We just use that hip fire.
And speaking of bleeding, we are bleeding away our time. So let's
let's do it.
All right. So remember earlier, like an hour and a half ago at this point, I did mention we wanted to talk about lore. Big thing here. We want to cover at least like one compound and one hunter every episode if possible. That's obviously going to be different for some episodes, and eventually we're going to run out of people. But today, I thought there would be no better person to cover and no compound to cover than everything surrounding Healing Waters Church. Now, for anybody who just heard that, that might ring an alarm in your head. That might bring up some fond or not so fond memories, right? Healing Waters Church, for those who don't know what it was immediately when I said it, it's the white church with the white walls. It's in a compound surrounded by stones like sarcophagi, mausoleums, and it's got the bell tower at the top where you're typically going to get shot and die from. A lot of good fights have been had at Healing Waters Church.
Ooh. It's one of the craziest compounds in the game.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. There's so much verticality. There's so many places to hide. There's so many angles to get shot from.
Oh, yeah. The verticality, each area is really well designed. The underground is super fun to fight in. And, like, going in and out of the tunnels, instead of, oh, yeah, let me go ahead and rotate around up top. No, just dive in, and then you could literally pop out at one of, 4 different spots, even inside the church now. I remember I had a fight recently where a trio pushed down while I was killing the butcher, and in a stroke of stupidity genius, I threw a hive bomb and it covered the sound of the fucking huge dynamite bundle when they were trying to open that door, and I threw the big dynamite bundle in there and killed all 3 of them. It provides so many interesting angles.
It does, dude. I've got one clip from, I was playing with some friends. I've got one clip I put on the subreddit that did pretty well. There was just a guy climbing the ladder behind me. I dropped down, I fucking clonked him on the head with a baseball bat, and as I was dropping in the air, he saw me and just violently nodded up and down. I fucking crack.
Yeah, he's just oh god, why?
No, well, he saw what was coming. He's like, well, I'm not getting off this ladder without losing my head, so he just nodded rapidly. It was awesome. It was awesome. So, Healing Waters is very iconic, but a lot of people don't know a damn thing about it. And it's actually got some pretty cool lore that ties very well into Hunt Showdown itself. So, we can't talk about Healing Waters, though, without bringing up the man that brought it into being, because the church doesn't build itself. And that man is Isham. Oh my god, I forgot his last fucking name.
Gerd.
Isham Gerd. Gerd. I love that name. Is Isham Gerd. Oh, or as you folks would probably know him in game as the Reverend. You probably didn't even know his name, right? So, we gotta dive a little ways back. I'm definitely, like I said, it's gonna be digestible. I'm not gonna give you an entire wiki article, but I'm gonna make it digestible so that you're not sitting here for 20 minutes listening about fucking waters around a churchyard. So, Isham Gerd, way younger, way before we knew him in game, the legendary hunter, the Reverend. When he was a lot younger, back during the Civil War era. He was ministering to people, spreading the word of the Lord. He actually went to a couple iconic places that you might remember in the game as well. Port Rica, for example. He utilized Port Rica to travel. Through traveling through Port Rica, he would wander over to Fort Carmick to minister towards the end of the Civil War, spreading the good word of the Lord. And frankly, the Reverend had his work cut out for him, because the swamps had already been privy to a variety of backgrounds and religions. As we mentioned before, immigration is very popular in the Hunt Showdown realm. A lot of people are trying to get to the land of opportunity, but unfortunately for those without a lot of money, they usually end up in Louisiana. They end up in the bayous. And this is not a particularly happy place to be. Especially where we play the game. We're playing the game in low-income areas, essentially, is a good way to summarize it. You could dip into towns that have nicer areas, a manor here and there, but generally, this is not a pleasant place to live, and the word of the Lord was not exactly widespread here when Isham got here. So, you had French immigrants, German immigrants, Haitians, Irish, Spanish, even freed slaves. That's a lot of backgrounds and religions that had nothing to do with the good book. So, Isham, a very passionate, very courageous, very charismatic, that'd be the number one word to describe him, charismatic man. He amassed a congregation of followers very quickly, but they had no church to gather in. So he would do his sermons in the bayou, but he needed a place to practice. So him and his followers, the Reverend and his followers, they head to New Orleans, and they command a great fundraising effort. They preached about the horrors of the bayou, how downtrodden it was, how poor everybody was. And along with wanting to spread the word of the good book, a lot of people in New Orleans actually reasoned it, and they understood the need for this. So he got a lot of donations. And they faced opposition, though, because even though they had gotten the money to build the church, they needed the land. And that's where the Blanchette estate comes in. They purchased it from the widow of the Blanchette estate, but she opposed them, and that caused them problems as well. Still, the walls were built. The white walls of God's graces took shape in Healing Waters Church, where the compound finally comes into play. Although we see it many years later, which we'll get into in a moment. It was actually named Healing Waters Church from the bayous that surrounded it, the water of the bayous, because although we know the bayous as a hellscape filled with demons and horrors, back then, it was a calming place. It was nature, it was natural, and for a lot of people, although there was tale of darkness within the waters, it was nowhere near the level we see it in game today. So, the populace, seeing that Gerd had gotten the money, he'd gotten the land, he had gotten past the widow of the Blanchette estate, they spoke to him as overcoming the widow's curse. In private, he dismissed this, but publicly, he declared that God's will was strong than any old crone's curse. He brought the tenants of the bayou, all of these people, immigrants, people that didn't speak English, people that didn't know the word of God, and were downtrodden, poor, living in poverty. He brought a sense of community to these people. His church was built in an isolated area, of course, a piece of land nobody wanted, but having the walls to gather together and share something was great for these people. But anybody who's familiar with the lore of Hunt Showdown will know happiness never lasts for any of the characters we know in the bayou. Never. And it did not last for the Reverend either. He got older. His popularity trickled over time as he approached the age we know him now when we play him in game. His sermons started to take a more creative turn. He warned of exterior dangers to the bayou, the dangers of big industry, the destruction of the bayou, the forests being taken down. He accused his entire congregation of partaking in the devil's sins, greed, pride, gluttony. He became a man obsessed with sin and demons, the occult, believing that fire and brimstone were waiting everybody and telling them so. He took the very few most devout followers that stayed with him in his senior years and sealed themselves away in the church for everybody outside the walls to speculate on the downfall. People speculated he became senile in his old age, full of regret for building the church in such an isolated place away from the full congregation of people nearby. To others, he had fallen to the old crone's curse from all those years back that he bragged about beating, something the will of God couldn't protect him from. But to others, where his story follows us today, others believed that it was simply something in the waters that did this to him after all. And that's where we end his story as we know it today. Now he spreads the word of the Lord through guns and violence.
Resurrecting dead people. I actually don't even know if that's legit. Like, just take that with a grain of salt.
Anything's possible in Louisiana in Hot Showdown.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and like Horse and I were doing a little bit of research with the lore for the Reverend, who was actually, I will say, and this might surprise some people who have played the game with me, he was one of my first skins that I had played that I had a lot of fun with.
Oh, dude, no, I love his skin. It's got a lot of character to it. It doesn't blend at all with the bayou. He sticks out. I like it a lot. And I've got a friend who only plays with the Reverend every time he plays.
Yeah, and the funny thing is that, obviously for those who don't know, VoIP can be a very fun and strange place. I may or may not have taken the Reverend in the bayou sometimes and was screaming about demons and VoIP and using a double barrel shotgun.
Yeah.
That's kind of the thing from back in the day is that, Priest had double barrels, but not Mr. Reverend Isham Gerd.
And we've seen. Go ahead.
No, but he has a LaBelle 1866, the altar boy. So.
Oh, true. Yeah, no, it is. I like that skin a lot, actually. And then he's also got his vitality shot, Sanguis Christi. Mm-hmm. That's like my favorite vitality shot, dude. It looks so good.
Oh, it's so cool. I like the new one, but we'll get into the new one at some other point in the future when we cover that particular hunter.
Right.
But
yeah, go ahead.
I do like the Christi. It's a good one.
Oh, dude, and what's cool about Isham, or the Reverend rather, is we've seen like shotgun priests in quote unquote in a lot of different media, like priests taken to action, priests that go crazy and kill people, blah blah blah. We've seen all of that, but with the Reverend specifically, what the hell is a priest supposed to do when he's been preaching? He's been preaching as a minister about demons and hellfire for 60 years, and now the dead are raising around him. Unironically, what the fuck do you do? I don't blame him for going around and killing everything. Like this is Judgment Day for him, dude. Like what?
Oh yeah. No, he picked up Altar Boy, picked up his uppercut, and said, "Let's fucking go." That's actually one of the other kind of fun things is that canonically he's been shown using the uppercut as his sidearm, as is shown in the Revenant DLC trailer. Back when Hunt Showdown trailers were like 30 seconds for DLC.
Yeah, they weren't 3 minutes and dropping a ton of lore points with a cool narration.
Right. But I fucking love it.
That's sick.
But, and he was shown fighting side by side with the Revenant. So he may be crazy, but he knows an ally when he sees one.
Right. And that's the thing, is that I don't think anything he does is purely like maniacal. I don't think he has any evil intent in his head. From everything I could see, I think he believes he's doing the Lord's work. And obviously that's a twisted, diabolical viewpoint. But what isn't fucking diabolical in the bayous of Hunt Showdown? What isn't diabolical, dude? Everything is insane. It's a horrible, dank, disgusting place.
Yeah, no, and then if you read the description on Sanguis Christi, it's so apparent how like devoted he is, because it says, and I'm like literally reading it, I have it pulled up in game. So certain is Reverend Gerd of Jesus's power that he dilutes his vitality shots with holy water. He swore of its power to his followers and was met with this ornate, valuable syringe in honor of his holy Bayou Crusade.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, it's insane, man. Like
that's awesome. I didn't even know that. I'm like fucking dumbfounded hearing that. That's so cool.
Yeah, he is so devoted. Like, like you said, you don't think he's malicious in intent, but he is in zealot territory. But one of the few good zealots, because, like you said, hell is literally raising around them. And one thing I appreciate about Hunt, how it presents itself, hell isn't just fire and brimstone. Like, you hear about them talking about the land of the dead. It is a very bleak place, very bleak and very kind of like somber, rather than just, we're going to fucking stuff a pineapple up your ass kind of
Yeah, like a wall of flesh that talks, yeah.
Yeah. Like, it's not that. It is a different type of twisted. And we can get into that, like we could probably dedicate a whole episode to like literally an event's lore.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, no, I'm down. I mean, like I said, the only one I'm missing is Trader's Moon, because it didn't have I don't think it had they didn't do the voice acting yet. Like Trader's Moon was the first one, and then literally the very next one, Serpent's Moon, had voice acting. And I was like, well, shit. Okay. But yeah, no, it's really cool to see the Reverend. I wonder if we're going to get one more weapon, because I feel like the direction they're taking with like Blood Bond skins and DLCs is that pretty much every hunter has their own loadout now. Like playable.
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, before and throughout the years, it was bits and bobs, right? Like a hunter might get a gun. God forbid, they might just get 2 consumables. Like There wasn't really a sense to it. It was just whatever. I think they literally just picked whatever the most reasonable thing was at that time. Like, oh, there's no cosmetic for this. Fucking throw it in there, give it to him. You know, like.
Yeah. I think that's part of it, definitely. Because, like, just as an example, one of the more recent skins that came out was like Grit and Bone or something like that, and it's Phyllis's fucking Romero hand cannon.
Right.
So, and she didn't have, as far as I know, she doesn't have very many weapons that are related to her, and that's like the first one that's actually been by name tied to her. Because I know the redneck has a couple now. The redneck's daughter has, like, I think the shotgun and the new big dynamite bundle. But then there's also legendaries that aren't tied to any hunters. So it's interesting. Like, basically just gotta wait and see what they come up with. Like, I think a holy uppercut would be pretty interesting. I think that would be fun.
That would be cool.
Yeah. You could tie it to the Lord's Prayer, but that's not fucking that's not tied to anyone. That's a streamer skin. So yeah, no, I think the Reverend is also just a very good one to kind of look at. He is an interesting one where he is absolutely crazy, but he is like chaotic good. If we were going to use D&D stuff,
right? Like, I don't think there are people in the bayou where if they saw you, they would literally just shoot you on sight. I don't think he's one of those. I think he would probably approach you open hands, like believing you are a child of God, but when you give him a reason to believe you are sinful, you might have some trouble.
Yeah, one of his hands might be a little itchy towards the uppercut, I think, but he's not going to make it apparent. Like, it's not going to be one of those things where he, like, basically he's a good he can do a good quick draw, but that's not his first thought.
Right.
That's kind of how, like, reading that, listening to that, you know. That's kind of how I view him, is that he's very much a man of action, but he's not going to just, like, I don't know, like, murder a kid, unlike some other hunters.
Yeah.
That we won't delve into right now.
Right. So I did want us to look at a few Reddit posts and discuss them, but dear God, we're going to hit a 2-hour fucking recording. Oh,
yeah.
My God.
I mean, honestly, though, like, we kind of address some of this stuff. We can also save it for next episode. And
true. In this one, we lost a lot of time on this one only because we had so much to discuss and explain, talk about the structure, what we're doing with the podcast, what our goals are. We're not going to do that next time. We can just dive right in. So that'll save a lot of time. This is the pilot.
Yeah, this is the pilot. Plus, honestly, I think mostly keeping the positive energy we have right now, I'm totally cool with it. Like, having a almost entirely positive first episode is better. So, like, it's a little bit easier to swallow when we're on round 2 and we're dealing with some of the salt, because we dealt with some salt here, but
little bits and bobs. Yeah,
like we had a lot of fun, and I'm hoping everybody else, like, can kind of get inspired. And, like, if you're feeling the hunt burnout because of all the negativity, or maybe you're not, you know, super into what Hunt's picking up or putting down, I hope you take something away from this episode and be like, you know what, Hunt is really a good experience, and there are good things about the community. It's just unfortunate that, because it's not even like, you know, like, in reality in media, yeah, we have a lot of negativity, and that's what's mostly touted. But honestly, even our brains are wired that way. We are more.
Oh my God, yeah. It's like the realistic aspect of it. It's like, oh, I don't want to go out. What if I don't have fun? Oh, I don't want to eat this. What if it tastes bad? Like, it's always a thought.
Yeah, no, and I think, like, and I'll admit, I'm one of those people, like, you know, if, like, I struggle with negativity so much, and I try not to be negative. There's even people who have said, it's like, what the fuck, you are negative? And I was just like, that's because I am trying, my guy. And that's why I stopped going to the Hunt subreddit as much. Like, I'll check it very occasionally. Like I said, if I want psychic damage, that's when I do it. Same thing with the Steam forums. But honestly, having started my content creation stuff and started streaming and stuff like that, I have met more solos and made more friends in game, like teaming up with other solos and being silly and being ridiculous. And I have even asked people on stream, it's like, hey, how long you been playing? You know, what's your favorite? And they'll even say, it's like, yeah, I have some gripes, but there's something about the game that keeps me coming back.
And yeah, I completely, dude, I'm right there with you. And I think a big thing people don't realize is, especially with the forums and like the Reddit especially, the people bitching and complaining constantly, they're just the loudest people. That doesn't mean they're everybody. And I think a majority of the player base is just dropping in the bayou, playing a couple games on the weekend, having a good time with some friends here and there. This isn't their life, like a lot of people who are very loudly complaining act like it is. It's not their life, and it never will be, but it doesn't need to be. That's not what Hunt's supposed to be. It's a fucking video game, and you're just supposed to have a good time.
Yeah, and I think, I hope, like, because, when I played with you, we had a blast. I remember, I remember the one time, it was like the first week, and you were like really trying hard to meme and be like, "Hello, gamer," and then he blasted you in the face with the shotgun through the wall. Had this super big reaction, and I was cackling because I was trying to play, but I was laughing too hard. And when you make situations and fun interactions like that, which also I know is attributed to, unfortunately, the MMR system. We're not going to get into it because it's already been too long. Unfortunately, that is a direct result of the MMR system. But ever since I have been in a lower MMR, because playing solo by rights puts you in a lower MMR, I have been having a lot more fun, a lot more silly interactions. And when I'm playing with friends, we do silly shit. One big example, one of my friends, she threw a frag bomb into the air and didn't tell me, by the way, and I was just sitting and I was looking at something else. She pulled off the 1 in 100 and like basically levered a terminus at the frag bomb as it was falling back, and it blew up in my face and killed me.
Yep.
And that was that extract, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, we were just chilling. I was trying to check some messages, and, but we still laugh about it. We have a good time. I give her shit about it. Like, I give one of my other friends shit about blowing himself up 3 games in a row. Like,
no, it's awesome, dude. It's awesome, dude. No, like, when I used to play a lot more, occasionally you run into a squad of people that are having a blast. We ran into one where it was like, I forgot what hunter it was. It was one of the hunters that looks like they're from the Civil War, like they look more like a soldier type of thing.
Oh yeah, the soldier hunters, yeah.
Yep, and then they all had a cavalry saber and a pistol. They had the Civil War loadout, dude. All of them.
Oh my!
And they all rode in with their cavalry sabers. It just surrounded one of my friends. I watched him in the field. They just fucking tore him down in his prime, dude. Oh there's so many good times in Hunt.
Dude, there is the one duo, and I'll tell this one real quick. But there's this one duo that literally just memed. I was playing solo, so nobody else witnessed it. It was before I recorded gameplay and stuff like that. But it was when they put fucking Star Shell on the Lamats. And these dudes had Lamats, fusees, flares. Dude, you want to know what they call themselves?
The flashbang loadout, dude.
Well, you want to know what they call themselves? They didn't even want to fight. You want to know what they call themselves? Amish electricians. And I was like, what the fuck? So me and him like DM'd afterwards. I was like, dude, what the hell was that? Because I couldn't hear them. Like, for some reason, like something happened. I couldn't hear them in game. And I was like, oh, my bad, dude. Like, he was like, yeah, no, we literally fuck around. Like, we do not take this game seriously at all. I was like, dude, that's good. That's good. I'm glad you do that.
We need more people like that.
Just fun, silly interactions in the bio. And I remember those more than the time I got sniped across the map, like for the umpteenth time, because those are the interactions that you're going to take with you. Like, and I have so many stories about being very, very, very silly, like trolling people with decoys, a little $6 tool. It's just fun. Gotta have fun with it.
I love this game, and I'm glad we did this, because even though like we have a lot to work on and a lot to improve, I still think that just getting to have a positive space to talk about Hunt, which encourages other people to talk, is awesome, because it's very rare these days, unfortunately, to find a positive Hunt space, and that's always what I will have on this channel. By God. Yeah. Until everything fucking crumbles around and the game truly is miserable, which I don't think will ever happen.
Yeah, no, I think even after it's dead, there's going to be a dedicated fan base that's going to necrolize it, and it's going to be the silly motherfuckers that do it.
Yeah.
Like, let's make the butcher 300 feet tall and roam. Like that kind of stuff. Like it, but no, and that's what I'm trying to foster in my Discord. I know it's what you foster in your Discord. There was I do remember one individual that was a little testy, but you know.
No names, but, not going to get into that here.
No. Nope. But, you know, at the end of the day, that's what I want in my community. I want people to have fun and enjoy. And there was actually somebody I met in game that I ended up becoming friends with. She's usually like watching my streams. I think she's actually a moderator for me. She had said that the person that she had played with before would stress her out about the game. She loved the game, but she hated playing it because of that situation. And she said when she started playing with me, everything was so much more fun because I was just doing dumb shit. Like, you've played with me enough. Like, I will go in, I will either wipe the entire team before anybody gets there, or I will face tank a fucking slug and die. Like, there's no in between. It's just that. And, you know, she even said it's like, you really don't try and criticize people. I was like, no, I'll give them positive reinforcements. Like, hey, in my situation, I would have done this. And I think that's the other aspect is like trying to teach people, hey, like and it's not even one of those things where I'm trying to like make them play how I play. I'm just like, hey, think about this, because the amount of layers in this cake called Hunt Showdown, it has like one of the fattest cakes on the game market right now.
That is a sentence I
did
not expect to ever hear in the same structure of words with Hunt Showdown. The fattest cake.
Has the fattest cake because it does. It's got a big ass. Like you can get into it real quick. You look it in the eyes. It's like, oh, you're pretty, but then you realize that there's more to it. It's like, damn. But
all right. So, anyways, I've said this 8 times this whole episode, but I really mean it. This was a pilot, everybody. This is not at all indicative of what this is going to be like going forward, and you directly can have a hand in that. We are just 2 guys who did this entirely for fun and for passion, for nothing else other than fun and passion. So for us, we love having you here, but obviously we can make improvements. This was just a thought that came out of nowhere. We came up with a plan. We did it the next day. If you have constructive criticisms, anything you want that you think we should do, comments, anything at all, please be constructive and don't be fucking assholes. But constructive criticism is completely and always welcome. I want you to list your ideas in the comments for what we could cover, what we could talk about, what we could do. I want you to send us viewer mail. My email's listed below. I've been asking for viewer mail. I've gotten some. I got the whole B-movie script for some fucking reason. Head to the email below. Send us anything you want to talk about. Send us your stories. That would be awesome if you guys had some great hunt stories that we could read and talk about. Send us footage. Send us your clips. Tell us about your concerns or loves for hunt. All of this would be awesome. Tell us what makes hunt for you, and we would love to talk about it. And not only that, but remember the balance survey that I'm doing. A description below if you want to participate and be immortalized forever in the greatest hunt iceberg ever / only iceberg ever. Description below as well. Hop in our community Discord. You can talk to us and others at length whenever. We have a lot of people that are joining lately. New players are coming in. It's really nice to see, and we're just trying to build a positive community in the game we love so much. Deadman, my friend, where can people find you? Anywhere.
As far as where you can find me currently, biggest place you can find me is obviously on Twitch. The name, as I told Horse yesterday, is going to change in like 3 weeks or something like that. Didn't know if I was going to take it seriously, but it's at Dead Berserk here right now as of 5/12/2024. I will give Horse the spelling to put somewhere, but But YouTube, it's Deadman's Howl. I have a couple of solo games on there. I have the entire lore for the last event on there. No commentary, nothing. It's literally just you click on it, you get into the lore, and you get out. That's all I want to do. I don't want to talk over the lore since we're doing this now. we can discuss it here. But if you just want it, like the narration from the game, that's where it is, and that's at Deadman's Howl on YouTube. Because obviously I cackle like a fucking demon, so let's fucking go.
Look, dude, I cackle like a gnome getting tickled, so it's fine.
But yeah, and I think this one ran long, honestly, guys, because me and Horse I haven't gotten to hang out in a while. We've both been.
That's
busy
also true.
Like we were being silly. We haven't we've talked about Hunt very briefly, but I think this is the first time we've really gotten to talk about Hunt.
Yeah, it was awesome. I had a lot of fun.
I'm sure it'll be way quicker next time because we'll be like, all right, let's get in, let's do this. Serious, not so serious face. It's fine.
Dude, we had an outline that we typed up last night and everything, and we just skipped over the whole fucking thing.
Yeah, no, we fucking cleared it. It is fine. It's cool. We can have a dumpster fire. You can even upload it in 2 parts, like part 1, part 2, whatever you want to do.
We'll fucking figure it out. But so anyways, folks. Oh, another thing, just dropping this in here. In the future, we were thinking about possibly doing this live, being able to live interact with you viewers. If you ever want that to happen on like a YouTube stream, let us know. Because if enough people say that's a good idea, we'll fucking do it. It'll be a little harder to do because it'll be live and we won't have an outline, obviously, but it'll still be sick, and I would love that. So
yeah. Well, we could still have an outline. It's just, we might get sidetracked.
like this time. Okay.
Yeah.
So
pretty much.
All right, so that's everything, everybody. If you thought this was cool and you want to see more of this, let us know. Like the video, share it so that other people might be able to just have some fun and learn something about the lore of Hunt and be able to enjoy the game in a positive community, which is for some reason growing rarer now than it ever has. And thank you for sitting through 2 hours of two idiots talking about a game they love so much.
Absolutely. And remember, laugh like a dead man, because you ain't got tomorrow.
And stay blessed.